orange cream poppy literally just makes me feel like I'm on top of the world. Hi everyone, welcome back or welcome if you're new. My name's Abby if you are new here, and today we are going to be talking through my August reset. I've been doing these resets monthly on my channel since the beginning of the year, and they've very quickly become one of my favorite videos to film for you all, and I know you all have been really loving them as well, and it means the world to me that you all do. Similar to previous months, we're going to be recapping the month of July, going through my goals, what goals I reached and didn't reach. I'm going to share my doodle planner setup for the month of August for you all. I'm going to go over my goals and intentions for the month of August, recap my reads from July, and then share my August TBR list. Lastly, go over our spending for the month of July. Before we get started though, make sure you're subscribed and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any uploads. And be sure to follow me on my social media. It's always linked down below. I'm so bummed because I was going to have a mic set up for this video and have a lot better audio for y'all, but unfortunately there's some kind of ground loop error when I plug a microphone into my camera, and there's this really horrible static noise. It's really loud and it just completely interferes with the audio, so I need to figure that out. So we're just going to be using the normal audio. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Looking at the month of July, which it is the 26th when I'm filming this, so we actually have a good 5 days left, but I just wanted to go ahead and film this today. Looking at my habit and mood tracker here, definitely had quite the interesting month, but I don't really want to say it was my fault. If you didn't know, Hurricane Beryl went through Houston early July, and that completely kind of threw our lives off for a little over a week. So things like having coffee at home, going to our workout classes, cooking at home, those kind of things were thrown off of it. But other than that, I did really good with reading this month. I've read basically every day this month. Most weeks I've been getting over 7 hours of sleep for like 5 nights of the week, except for the first week of July. So I definitely have done a lot better in that department compared to the previous months. And for the mood tracker, I will say having a hurricane come through kind of like puts things in perspective for you, and you're less likely to kind of dwell on the small stuff that you are sweating when you're dealing with the aftermath of a hurricane and all that stuff, because you really just sort of have a different perspective and you're just thankful to be alive and you're thankful to have power back and stuff. So there's definitely a good bit of not so great days that I had in July, but a lot of that was just because of the uncertainty of not knowing when we were getting power back, and then all the chaos with my husband's exam that I've told y'all about in a vlog. So very chaotic stuff that happened. If you follow me on Instagram, then you know all the tea with that. But moving on into the highlights from July, I did another July highlights page where I had each day numbered out and then wrote down just like my highlight of the day. Celebrated some birthdays this month and with family and friends. I got a lot of reorganizing and just getting things set up in our house done, which felt really great. Had some good family time. My husband passed his CFP exam. I decided to do a little July recap page again, which I haven't done in a while, where I kind of like to share numbers and favorite songs and stuff like that. So I did a half page this time, and it actually like turned out pretty cute for me just like freehanding it. I have 25,646 Instagram followers. From the last time we tracked it, I am down by about 130 followers, so that's fun. And then on YouTube, I have 98,254 YouTube subscribers, which that is some growth because I think I was in the upper 97,000 when I recorded that down in April. For my songs on repeat this month, I have Creatures in Heaven by Glass Animals. I was listening to this song a lot when it came out as a single for Glass Animals' new album that just came out last week, I believe. As of right now, it's like still my favorite song on the whole album. Lyrically speaking, but also just like the way it sounds is just so catchy and a very nostalgic and somber way almost. And then I have The Prophecy by Taylor Swift. I've really been loving that song lately. I don't know why. It's just been hitting. I think the flow of it's just really good for like most of my moods. I Feels Like by Gracie Abrams. I've been listening to her album that recently came out, but it's funny that I'm listening to Feels Like because that's not a new song on her new album. I have One of One by Gunna. It's been a while since I've had like rap or hip hop in my on repeat section. I feel like when I was in high school and college, my genre order was pretty much always like number 1 rap and hip hop, number 2 country, and then number 3 indie and pop. And then now that I'm just like an adult living my life, I feel like it's completely swapped. So now it's indie and pop, and then country, and then hip hop and rap in terms of like how often I listen to each genre. Gunna's one of my favorite rappers though, and I love the album he came out with recently, and that song is so vibey. I love listening to it when I'm driving. And then I have Stoned by Parker McCollum. That's just a phenomenal song. I don't really know why it's in my repeat, I think because it's on just like a bunch of the different country playlists I listen to. So, and I never really skip it, so that's probably why. And then I put a quote on here that I really loved for the month of July, and it's not necessarily specific for July. I just found it in July and really loved it. I posted it on my Instagram story too. It says, every first draft is perfect because all a first draft has to do is exist. And that's such a good reminder that like you just need to jump in, take action, and do things. Don't overthink it, and don't think that your first time doing things is going to be perfect or that it needs to be perfect. Because by definition, for a first draft to be in existence, all you have to do is do it. And I put down all the books I read and their star ratings, but I did read 4 books, but we'll get into all that later. And now going into my July recap in terms of my goals. And as usual, any goals that I didn't reach for July, I'm just carrying them over to the next month for the most part. To go to the beach and see a sunrise. Haven't done that yet. Hopefully we can do that in August. Galveston's like an hour from us, so it will take a while. I really wanted to spend more time outside, spend time at the pool and playing pickleball and stuff. We haven't played pickleball this month. After the hurricane, it took a while for the pickleball courts we go to get like cleared up. But I did go to the pool a few times before the hurricane hit. The hurricane hit on like July 8th, I think, which is crazy because I can't believe it was like 3 weeks ago at this point, and it's been raining every day or super gloomy for the last week here in Houston, so definitely be something we do more of in August. I wanted to finish filming my closet videos that I have planned, so I have 2 closet oriented videos. One is organizing our closet and kind of doing a whole video just like making it over and reorganizing it, which that video is done. It actually might be going, I think it is going up before this reset actually. I've had it planned for so long, like literally months. And then the other one that I've also had planned for months is trying on everything in my closet. And I have not filmed anything for that video in over a month because of a roof leak that we have from the hurricane. Our ceiling fan in our bedroom we had to take out, and our room is just really hot, and in order for me to film those things, I'm filming them in our room because that's where my clothes are. It is way too hot to film without a fan. We have like a plug-in fan in our room right now, so I can't really film everything very easily without it being really loud or really hot. So that's just a whole issue in and of itself, but I'll eventually finish that video. I'm hoping to get it finished in August once we get a good ceiling fan reinstalled and everything. I did bake a summer recipe. I baked a lemon loaf. I actually think I did that at the end of June technically. I had to read 5 books down. I wanted to get my summer TBR knocked out before getting back to the Throne of Glass series, and I had to read 5 books specifically. So I read 4 books, and I'm not done with my summer TBR. I've kind of made some adjustments, and I'll talk about that later in the video, so that one was kind of achieved. I wanted to talk to a gynecologist about PMDD, like I talked about in my last month reset. I feel like I potentially have PMDD and I need to talk to someone about it. So I tried to do this. I submitted a request for an appointment online for someone because my gynecologist practice closed and they never got back to me, and then the hurricane hit and I just haven't prioritized finding someone else. But I'm having a really hard time finding a female gynecologist with good reviews that isn't far away from us because I don't want to drive really far to one, and I also don't want to go to a male. I'm sorry, I just don't feel comfortable doing that. I really wanted to be better about staying off my phone during like the day in terms of scrolling on social media. That one was just thrown out the window once again because with the hurricane, that ended up being like a wash of a week for us. I was pretty much either on my phone or reading books. I didn't really get much of anything else done. I will say though, this week that I'm filming this, it's a Friday, I have been a lot better about this, I feel like. I've not done a social media detox day yet, but I'll probably do that tomorrow since tomorrow's Saturday. Then I had to hang our wedding photos and do our gallery wall, rehang our bookshelf downstairs, and just reset our downstairs area once my husband finished his exam. Because as you'll know, he had a bunch of study materials kind of plastered all over our wall downstairs and our patio door and our windows, and our downstairs has just been a mess the last 4 months because of that. So we got a lot of the downstairs back to normal, and we have not hung the gallery wall yet. That's a project for this weekend though, and this weekend's still July, so hopefully we'll get it done before the end of the month. But I did order the wedding photos that we wanted to get printed, and I have them in the frames, so we just have to hang them now, and I'm really excited to do that finally. And I had on here to have some date nights with Griffin. This is in the works. We're going on a date night tonight. I don't know what we're doing because he just told me we are doing something. I'm pretty sure it's going to be going to the movies though, just because he said, oh, like we just need to be done with dinner around 7:30. That tells me that we're probably going to the movies. And because I told him, I was like, there's so many movies I want to see. I want to see Twisters, Inside Out 2, and then that movie about like the moon landing and it being fake or whatever. I don't remember what it's called, but it looks like it'll be pretty good. And then I had to put my best foot forward in interviews and just trust in and be at peace with God's plan with everything. And I did put my best foot forward. My second interview that I ended up having ended up being like very, very short. It like wasn't even 15 minutes long because they just kind of told me that I didn't totally have everything they were looking for a candidate, but they did really like my personality and thought I'd be a good fit for the team. And I talked about that in a recent vlog too. and kind of like where I'm at with all of that now. So if you want to know more about that, then you can go watch that vlog. But ultimately, I'm doing my best. Now going into my August doodle planner setup. This is, I think, my favorite theme of this whole doodle journal from Amanda Rachley. And if you want this doodle journal, the 6-month undated version is available. I believe every color is in stock. There's the teddy one, the denim one, and then there's some other colors. But this theme is definitely my favorite because it's beach themed. And y'all know how much I love the beach since I grew up in Panama City Beach. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do with this color wise. I just knew I really wanted it to be super colorful and bright, fun, vibrant colors and lots of blues. So that's kind of what I ran with. I think I could have done a better job with color coordination and stuff, but overall I just knew I wanted it to be bright and fun. So we did like the blue umbrella and the yellow towel for the kind of cover page. And I haven't written my goals out in the goal box yet, but I will definitely do that. Then for the August main spread, I kind of used all the same colors for the most part, but I did switch some things up and I really love how this one turned out. I love all the little shells. They're so cute, and I'm so glad I have the new pack of markers that have a lot of neutrals in it, because that really came in clutch this month with all the shells that were in this design. And then for my habit tracker and mood tracker, I just realized I never wrote out my habits, so we can do that now together. But honestly, I'm just gonna do the same ones I always do. So exercise, evening walk, sleep 7+ hours, eat at home, coffee at home, post on Instagram, post on TikTok, read, and then I'm gonna put in bed by 10 p.m. I absolutely love the mood tracker this month, the beach towel. I think that's so just clever to use as a mood tracker. It's nothing crazy because it's just literally coloring lines, but I love that it's beach towel. I think that's so fun, and ultimately just really love this theme since it is the beach. It's not my favorite that I've done in terms of like my coloring, but in terms of the actual theme itself, definitely a favorite. Now getting into the August goals. Very first one on top of the ones that we didn't really achieve last month. So be present on vacation. We're going on a fun like couples trip here pretty soon. I don't want to give like exact dates or anything, but we're really excited. We're going to Whistler, Canada. I've actually never been to Canada. A lot of my heritage is like French Canadian from like Quebec area, but we're going to Whistler, which is the other side of Canada. And we're going with 2 of my close friends and their boyfriend slash fiance, and then my brother and sister-in-law. And we're going as like a big group of 8. We've set aside some money for this trip. I haven't been on many like this where you're kind of like going with another couple and it's not just like visiting them or anything. It's going to like a new place. I tend to get like stressed about how much money I'm gonna spend and everything on vacation, and that's why vacation and travel sinking funds are so nice, because you can put all the money aside. Ultimately, I just really want to be present though and soak up that time because it's with people who I don't get to spend a lot of time with. I don't think I'm gonna vlog that trip. I would love to, just because it's, you know, it could be a fun travel vlog and everything. And I'm comfortable vlogging in front of everybody that's gonna be there, but I just don't really know if I'm going to vlog it yet, just because I don't want cameras to be in faces and stuff if people aren't wanting to be on camera. I just always want to respect people's privacy. But with that, I just want to really unplug. I want to make sure that I'm not, you know, trying to edit a video or anything while we're on vacation there. I want to make sure all that stuff's taken care of before we go. I put on here to spend more time outside, which is carried over from last month with like pickleball and laying by the pool and everything. But also going off of that, I would love to grill some with my husband. He loves grilling. Since the mosquitoes are so bad, we got some like mosquito incense sticks that are supposed to help repel them. They have really good reviews, so I'm hoping it works. It's a lot cheaper of an alternative than getting our exterminator to do a mosquito treatment plan. That's just like a lot of extra money, and I'm really just like not wanting to keep throwing money at things related to our house. So as long as those work, we will definitely be doing some grilling. Then going off of that, I really want to get more steps in. I want to be really good about like getting 10,000-ish steps a day, which is a lot for somebody who works from home and just doesn't walk around a lot. But I've been walking more and more gradually each month this year, like going on longer and longer walks and more often, and I feel just so much better. Like my body feels better, especially when I'm on my period. If I'm not like going to as many workout classes during the week, it's such a good way for me to still get movement in and like feel good without putting my body through something super excruciating. The next thing is to do a no spend month and just save more in general. I really don't want to spend any money when it comes to just like shopping, like clothes or random things on Amazon, anything like that. I'm still gonna let myself go and get a coffee on the weekends and that kind of thing. Go out to dinner with a friend if that's in the agenda. All that stuff I'm fine with, because those are things that ultimately like feed my social life and they're things that make me happy. I did a little bit more spending in July for shopping related things than I normally do, so to reel that back in, I really want to do like a no spend when it comes to clothing, shoes, anything like that. Random Target purchases that I want but don't really need, all that stuff. And ultimately just save more because I feel like the last few months I haven't really been able to save a ton. And that's mainly just because my income's been pretty volatile this quarter. Honestly, I had a really phenomenal Q1. Q2 was substantially less than Q1 in terms of like the income I made. Q3 started off kind of decently, but I'm waiting on several invoices to be paid. So that kind of made it to where I wasn't really able to save as much in July as I was hoping. And since we are traveling and we're going to be using our travel sinking fund, I want to be able to replenish that. Obviously, it's not going to be an all at once type of thing, but I want to be able to keep putting money into it in the coming months. And also in the back of my mind, I actually had a dream that I went to Eras Tour last night, but I was like second row and it was in like a super small stadium, so definitely was not real. And my dream ended before I even saw Taylor Swift performing, which was just a bummer. But I'm being kind of delusional and thinking that I'm gonna get off the wait list. Maybe I'm not being delusional, but I think I'm gonna get off the wait list for tickets for her second US leg for New Orleans. And if that happens, I'm getting a ticket and going, because one of my biggest regrets of 2023 was not going to see her when she was in Houston. I've said it before, I just didn't really have the money at the time to spend like $400 on a ticket and I didn't really know anyone to go with. I definitely had way more than $400 to my name, but it was right after I had just paid like so much money in taxes. I was not having a good Q1 with making money and stuff from YouTube, so I kind of just had like this really pessimistic outlook on how the next months were gonna go for me, and I knew that I was like paying all of my free disposable income to wedding related stuff, so I just knew it would not be a wise way to spend my $400, so I didn't go, and I regret it so deeply. If I get off the wait list, I am going, so I want to start setting aside some money for that possibility happening so that I can get a ticket and not be like, oh, I don't want to spend this money. That's another reason I kind of want to start saving some more. Kind of always applying to jobs on a rolling basis, but the next goal is to just kind of potentially look into subbing and whether or not I'm wanting to potentially pursue getting certified to be a teacher. I talked about that in my last vlog too, so in the same section of the vlog where I was talking about interviewing and everything. So I was hoping to get like a finance or accounting job that I could try out after leaving my Big Four job that I had for 2 years, because I didn't want to just write off my entire experience in the finance and accounting industry from one job that I had for 2 years. Just not looking too great right now. And teaching is something I've kind of always said I would love to do at some point in my career. So I kind of told myself if I didn't find something by like the end of 2024 in finance or accounting that I would look into getting certified for teaching. So all that being said, I'd like to look into it a little bit more seriously. I applied for like an alternative certification program. I'm not 100% sure on what I want to be certified in. I initially thought business and finance for grades 6 through 12. And then part of me kind of wants to do math because I do really like math and I'm definitely good at it, and I feel like that might be a little bit more marketable and easy to get a job with compared to business and finance. So I don't even know. I just want to start looking into it more in August and kind of just getting more serious about it. I want to film a video outside of my comfort zone. This is one that I've had in previous months, and I think this is just one that kind of just keeps me challenging myself with my content and keeps me from getting bored per se, because when I'm filming the same stuff week to week, and I'm not somebody that's like going out and about and spending tons of money every week doing these extravagant things that are super exciting for videos and everything like that. Like I'm pretty much at home in my vlogs for the most part and doing the same thing day after day after day. So when I'm vlogging and then I'm editing that content and I'm living that life, it's almost like being exposed to my day 3 times, if that makes sense. And I can get really bored and in my head about it and just be like, oh my gosh, this is so mundane. So challenging myself to film kind of different videos, even though they pretty much always perform worse than my vlogs, which is just funny because I work so much harder on them. I still like challenging myself to a different style of video that I'm used to because it's a great creative challenge for me. It really does just help me stay like super passionate about what I'm doing. I have social media detox day as always, and then I have visit the gynecologist to talk about PMDD carried over from last month, going to the beach and hopefully seeing a sunrise carried over from last month. I want to eat more balanced in August. I feel like June and July not the best in terms of balance. Eating foods that just like don't really make me feel very good at the end of the day, like a lot of fried food and pizza and things like that, which all great things. I eat them on a normal basis as is, but usually I'm a lot more balanced in terms of like, okay, 70 to 80% of the time I'm eating, you know, like healthy, nutritious foods and meals. And then that 20 to 30%, of course, I love indulging in things like pizza and chicken nuggets and all that good stuff. But I feel like it was kind of swapped the last few months, 20 to 30% nutritious foods and then like 70 to 80% of not so nutritious foods. Totally fine, but I just kind of noticed an impact on my energy the last month, but I did just feel a lot more lethargic a lot of the time, and I definitely feel like it's because I probably wasn't getting a lot of the vitamins I needed from vegetables, but a lot of that is because of the hurricane, because when the hurricane came through, we didn't have vegetables for like 4 days, and I remember my husband was like, my stomach has felt so weird, and I'm like, probably because we've had nothing green in like a week almost. We've also had things to celebrate with like birthdays, my husband passing his exam, all that good stuff. So it's all great things, but I'm somebody who likes to feel their best each day. The best way for me to feel my best is to have a good balance with what I'm eating and not being so heavily on the non-nutritious foods. I have to book more campaigns. I have this past week, I've actually booked some exciting campaigns that I'm like really excited for. I did have a pretty dry spell for about like 3-4 weeks this month, and then kind of like the end of June where I didn't really get anything booked. Not much I can do about this besides continuing to create content and being consistent on platforms. You just kind of have to hope that you get on a brand's radar, hope that something comes of it. So fingers crossed, I'm just putting it out there that I want to book more campaigns. And last but not least, I have to reach out to or potentially see a friend I haven't seen in a while, or to host at home. So now that our downstairs are taken care of and it's not a mess, I would love to host some friends at home and have some people over for like a dinner or something like that. It's been so long since we've done that. I genuinely think we haven't had anyone over friend-wise since probably like October or November of last year. Since I haven't seen a few of my like Houston-based people that I know in a couple months, but I am seeing one of my work friends from my old job tomorrow, so I am excited for that. I'm kind of already achieving that goal tomorrow, but I kind of have it on there for August, not July. Getting into the reading recap of my TBR for August. My July TBR was to read Hunting Asselin, which I did not read, and if I do end up reading it, I'm deferring it to the fall because I think it's more of a fall vibe anyways. It's a dark romance, and that's just like not end of summer vibes for me, and I haven't really decided if I want to move forward and read it or not. And then I got Caught Up by Liz Tomford, so I'm currently reading that, and I'm hoping to finish it soon. And then Play Along, which is the 4th book in the series I would really like to read. I don't know if I put the 4th book on my TBR last month or not. It did come out in July, the 4th book in that series, which is called Play Along, so I did not read that either, obviously, since I'm reading the 3rd book right now. I really wanted to read A Happier Life by Christy Woodson Harvey. I still want to read this summer, like before the summer's over and before I start getting into fantasy and everything. And then I have The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, I don't know how you say it. I wanted to defer that to fall too, because I actually saw like a TikTok saying it was a fall book or a good book for fall, and I didn't realize that. So I'm deferring that one to fall if I end up reading it in the fall. And for the books I did read, I read Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt, and that was a 4.5, 5-star book for me. I absolutely love that book. It was so good. I talked about it in my last vlog in a reading recap, so I'm not gonna talk about it too much here, but definitely one of my favorite reads for this year so far because it's just such a unique storyline. It was a really great lit fic and a nice palate cleanse from all the romance I've been reading. And I read the last 2 books of the Chestnut Springs series, which was Reckless and Hopeless by Elsie Silver. Reckless was my favorite of the whole series, definitely a 5-star read for me. Close tie with the 2nd book in the series though, which I think was called Heartless. 4th book, Reckless, was definitely like a 5-star for me for sure. I loved it so much. Love the single dad trope. I don't know why. I just eat it up every time. I haven't seen it done poorly, so I think that's why I love it too. And then Hopeless, number 5, the 5th book. I didn't really love that one as much. I still read through it really quickly and it was a really easy read and everything. I just didn't feel as connected to the characters. Ultimately, the plot just felt a little bit weaker in that book compared to the other book, so that one was 3 stars for me. And then I read Georgie All Along, which was our book club read for this month. And Georgie All Along was a 3-star for me. I haven't talked about this book yet on my channel or anything, so I will give a brief overview of that. Georgie moved back home to her small town in Virginia after leaving Los Angeles because of leaving a very high pressure and very busy job. She's got a best friend named Belle back home who is pregnant, and Belle could not be in like a more different stage of life than Georgie is. As she's helping her friend Belle sort of get her house situated before the baby comes, they come across this fic that they wrote together before they went into high school. It was basically just like all of these fantasies that they wanted to live out in high school. Just think like bucket list type items as high schoolers. And since Georgie moved back home and she doesn't really know what's next for her, she sort of uses the fic as a way to find herself when she's back home and wants to finish the things that they didn't finish in the fic. She ends up meeting the older brother of her childhood crush who she has a forced proximity situation with, and I'll let y'all figure out the rest. This one was 3 stars for me, and it's mainly just because there was so much inner monologue in this book. I do not like a ton of inner monologue. I don't need to know a character's every single thought. It was a lot of telling rather than action as well, like things would happen and then you'd hear about it after the fact, and I like to read things more in the moment. And the first 60% of it was just so incredibly slow. Like it didn't really feel like anything was happening. I will say 60% on, the book was great. I absolutely loved the relationship between Belle and Georgie, the 2 best friends. It was honestly the best part of the book to me, and there was just like a really sweet scene that I thought was so touching in the book. If you read it, you'll know. And I liked the ending a lot, but it was just 3 stars because it was nothing special to me. I just kind of wanted it to be done, but I think a part of that is because I was really burnt out from romance, just from reading so much recently. Even though I had just read a lit fic right before that, I was just like, I've had so much romance and I'm so ready to get back into fantasy. Jumping into my August TBR, I have quite a bit on here, and that's because this is the month that we need to wrap up my summer TBR. So definitely A Happier Life by Christy Woodson Harvey. Play Along, the 4th book of the Windy City series. Talking at Night, which is one of the books I bought in late June, I believe is when I bought it, and I still haven't read it, but I think that one can carry over into fall if I wanted to. I want to finish The Bridge Across Forever, which is a book that I'm borrowing from my father-in-law. I talked about that in a recent vlog too, and I'm kind of just like 50 pages into it, but it's like an autobiography kind of philosophical type of book, so it's not necessarily something I'm like gonna be sitting and reading every night. It's kind of just, I pick it up when I want to pick it up. I'd like to finish it though, so I'm not like reading it for so long. And then last but not least, Queen of Shadows, because we are jumping back into the Throne of Glass series, baby, and I could not be more excited. I'm at a point now where I'm like itching to get back into the series because I just have had so many people say like it's gonna pick up so much, and I ended up buying all of the physical copies of the Throne of Glass series on Prime Day. They were all 50% off individually, so that's how I bought them because the box set wasn't on sale anywhere. And I knew I wanted to have the physical copies because it's just like a series that I've really loved, and I know I'm gonna love even more once I get through the rest of the books. I really like having physical copies of books that I'm just like head over heels with, even though I haven't bought a lot of books that I've read on my Kindle that I have been head over heels with. Now to wrap up this video with the July spending recap. I have to say this in every video, but the way we do our budget, it's through a software that my husband's work uses, so I can't like give a link to it or anything. Overall though, definitely a spending heavy month. I feel like the summer we always spend just like so much more than we do in the winter and in the fall. I have $580 budgeted monthly for car payments, insurance, gas, that kind of thing, and we went $304 over, but that is because we did get our cars, both of our cars got serviced this month, which was like $215 total, I think, and then the other was just like more gas than we normally get because we did have to drive to Wichita Falls for my husband to take his CFP exam, which is 6 hours away. That was definitely some extra gas there. For entertainment, we are $75 over, and that's mainly because, let me see why. I just realized our Amazon Prime subscription got categorized to that, so I don't think we're actually technically over that. I would consider that to be part of like shopping or something, but our annual subscription fee of $150. I've been using my parents' like Amazon still, but for some reason my card is the one that has paid for it the last like 2 years. So it's my Amazon now, even though my dad's name is on it. I'm the one paying for it. So that makes sense then. I was like, why are we so over on that one? So we're not technically over, but that does make us even more over on shopping. Coffee, we spent $118 more than what we budgeted for. I budgeted $100 a month, and that was working for a while, but we've recently been getting coffee out so much more lately. But we've been getting like coffee and breakfast out instead of just coffee a lot with some of Griffin's family members, like over the weekend and stuff after we do like a workout class, and that adds up obviously with 2 people, and every time we're getting coffee out, it's like we're getting it for 2 people, so I feel like it just adds up so much more quickly than it does if you're just like one person getting coffee every month. And sometimes we'll buy like some of his siblings that are with us if we're going to get coffee and stuff, so, and that happens like actually pretty often, so I'm not complaining about it, just kind of justifying why we've been over on coffee lately. And because of the hurricane, we got coffee out during the week of the hurricane, I think like half of the days during the week. Groceries were actually quite under, so I budget $800 a month usually, unless it's like a traveling month, we'll do a lower budget for the month. We've spent $649 this month. I will be getting groceries on Sunday, so that'll probably get us closer to that $800 mark. Thankfully, we didn't have to throw out any of our groceries because of losing power and everything for a week, since we were able to take all of our groceries over to my in-laws and put it in their spare like fridge and freezer that they have in their garage. Restaurants and dining, we are $173 over, and I attribute this to several things. I had like a birthday dinner that I went out to and spent like $90 at, so it was like a pretty expensive place, and that was just for me to eat, which is crazy. I had 2 drinks, I think, and I had a meal and I tipped. We didn't really eat out that much, but we did take one of my sister-in-laws and her boyfriend to dinner the night before the hurricane. Actually, the 4 of us went, and we paid for their dinner, and then we paid for another one of my sister-in-law's dinner when we went to Wichita Falls because we went through Fort Worth and stopped and saw her and got dinner. So, and those aren't things we do on like a month-to-month basis usually with buying dinner. But in terms of just like actually eating out, we really did not eat out that much. It was just the times we did go out, it was expensive because we were paying for like other people, or I went to that one really expensive restaurant, and we're probably eating out tonight for our date night. So it's gonna be even more over. For shopping, we are quite a bit over. I had $300 budgeted, but I had a lot of random Amazon purchases. At the beginning of the month, I had ordered a bunch of stuff for the closet organization that I was doing. So those were really like home expenses for the most part. I probably spent about $125 on those things. And then on Prime Day, I got all of the Throne of Glass books, which was about $65, I think. So a lot of it was honestly like home related spending. And then of course we had the Amazon subscription renewal. Category that we had a lot of spending in that I wasn't really anticipating was kind of just like our overall health and medical bills. I unfortunately got a call from my dentist saying that the insurance didn't end up covering 50% of the mouth guard I had to get because of the stress fractures in my teeth. So I had to end up paying $225 again for that, for the other 50%. So that really sucked that it ended up not being covered, but it is what it is. I have had a lot less jaw pain, so I'm here for it. And then Griffin went to, I think, the dermatologist and the doctor, I want to say. So he had some co-pays to pay, and then so we definitely had a good bit there. So we're pretty much over on everything besides groceries. So great month. That's all for this month's reset. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Comment a seashell emoji if you made it to the end to be on theme with the doodle planner. Thank you all so much for watching, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and make sure you're subscribed and turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload, and I will see you all in my next video.